Campaign trenches in battleground BC this morning. We begin our coverage with the highlights of last night's leaders' debate. A lot of back and forth from all the leaders in the only televised debate of the provincial election. It was the sparring between NDP leader Adrian Dix and Liberal leader Christy Clark that everyone, though, is talking about. Here they are going at each other over government spending.
Well, Mr. Dix, the thing is you haven't said how you're going to pay for anything. You put out your platform. Everyone agrees that it's only partly costed for British Columbians. You haven't said how you're going to pay for $3 billion worth of new government spending. We cannot afford that kind of out-of-control spending in British Columbia.
Those very claims that you made were shown to be not true.
Which is something you say you don't support on one hand,
Premier Clark, you say debt-free
on
the side of your bus, debt-free on the side of your bus, and you're overseeing the largest increase in debt in BC history.
Let's leave that question at that.
Clark has a lot of ground to make up on Dix, whose NDP is in a position to return to power for the first time since 2001. You can't win an election in BC these days without wading into pipeline politics either. Last night, Clark hammered away at Dix over his stand on Northern Gateway.
Hold on a second. I still haven't heard an answer from you on my question about why there is no consistency in your party's position on this. It's something that does matter to British Columbians, and you know what it sounds like to me. You sound like a man who has no trouble saying yes to new spending, but you have lots of trouble saying yes to new economic development for our province.
Well, that's simply not true, Premier Clark. And you look at your position on Enbridge Northern Gateway, which basically is, if the price is right, we'll sell out BC's interests. I don't agree with a 9-fold increase in tanker traffic off our coast. What's your position? Do you agree with that or not?
An online poll taken immediately following the candidates' first televised debate suggests Dix stole the show. Ipsos Reid surveyed 677 BC voters. 35% say NDP leader Adrian Dix was the winner over Liberal Christy Clark, who got 30% of the vote. Those polls say Green Party leader Jane Sturck actually came third with 10%, and just 3% voted for Tory frontman John Cummins. So how did Christy Clark think she did in the debate? Lisa Mrazek's covering the Liberal leader and has her post-mortem.
While British Columbia Premier Christy Clark held her own in Monday's All Leaders debate, she didn't deliver any of the knockout punches that could have really boosted her momentum going into the last 2 weeks of the campaign. When asked if her performance is enough to sway public opinion in her favor, she said she's happy with her performance.
I mean, for me, it was about each of us getting a chance to get our message out. So I was really thinking about what I was doing, and that was to talk to British Columbians about where I stand on the issues. And I feel like I got a chance to do that. I'm pleased that I got my chance to do that. As you know, I've been looking forward to this for a long time.
Clark was also asked about a recent incident where she ran a red light at 5 o'clock in the morning with her 11-year-old son Hamish in the vehicle.
I said I should not have treated a red light as a four-way stop, and I shouldn't have done it. And but again, as I said tonight, I work really hard to be a good parent, and I've made some mistakes over my 11 years of being a parent. This was one of them.
Conservative leader John Cummins opened up the debate, saying that the Liberals don't have a chance to form government, and he reiterated that point afterwards to reporters.
What really was clear tonight, I think, is that the Liberals are marginalized. I think that it's quite clear that they cannot win the election. I don't think that that anything that transpired this evening would suggest that the Liberals will be successful on May 14th.
As for Clark's gender gap in the polls, she says it isn't pollsters who determine election outcomes, it's people. And so she's going to continue to push the Liberals' plan to grow the economy, as she says it's an issue that men as well as women are very concerned about. Reporting in Vancouver for Sun News Network, I'm Lisa Mrazek.
After a shaky start, NDP leader Adrian Dix went on the offensive, and he attacked Christy Clark's budget and job creation record while defending his own stance on pipelines. How did he think he performed? Byron Chu has those details from Vancouver.
Adrian Dix said that the TV debate format wouldn't work in his favor, and at first he seemed to be right. He started off very nervously, but he soon settled into the debate as it got going.
And ensure that we do our part in dealing with global climate change.
Dix used the one-on-one format to trade shots with Clark on her job creation record, her balanced budget, and her defense of the HST. Dix himself came under attack for his flip-flop on the Kinder Morgan pipeline and his party candidates voicing different positions on LNG fracking. But overall, Dix gave as good as he got.
I am, because we got the opportunity to talk about a more prosperous society, about a more generous society, about addressing the environment. Those were three key themes for me. I think I addressed them all. I feel great about it. I think in this campaign, the facts, the evidence are working in favor of change. And I think that showed tonight, that the campaign fundamentally is about change for the better. Our plan, I think, delivers on that in a modest and hopeful way. And I think that's what people are looking for.
Each of the candidates was asked which politician they would most like to emulate. Dix responded by saying Tommy Douglas, because he says Douglas brought in social programs like Medicare but ran a fiscally prudent government. Byron Chu, Sun News Network, Vancouver.